Hey folks, hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the channel. So, got a new guitar day happening here. So it's one of those things that at this point, when I pick or get another guitar, it's kind of a surprise because if 2 weeks ago, if you said, well, you're gonna get a guitar, and I'd be like, what? No, I have enough. But there's always something that I don't even know how I came across this one. I mean, it's not like it's unfamiliar, but there's times where, you see stuff 100 times and it doesn't click in your brain. And then that one day it does click in your brain and you're like, man, why have I not picked up one of these before? So let me say hello to folks that have joined us. We got Cushman, New York City. How you doing? There's Gene Schmidt, one of the best guitar players on YouTube anywhere, period. Guys, check out Gene Schmidt. He's an freaking 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 nature. Awesome player. William De Silva's here. There's Mitch Heyman. Nice to see you. Stephen David, welcome. Ken White. Nice to see you. Tyler Patterson, how are you? Yeah. Thanks for joining us. I know it's a holiday weekend in the U.S. It's Memorial Day weekend. For you folks, we had. It's funny. You have the Memorial Day weekend the week after we have our what we call May 2-4 weekend with Queen Elizabeth Day, whatever you want to call it. But we had a holiday last Monday, and then you get the holiday the week after. But all good, all good. So man, I need another guitar like a hole in the head. But sometimes things pop up, like I was saying earlier, that you know. I'm just being honest, Gene. There's the Dark Wizard room. How are you? Nice to see you. Um, yeah, just things pop up on your radar, and you're like, man, I really got to check this out. Now, a while ago, I just for my own sanity, I kind of did a list. I was able to remember, and the easiest way to do is going by brand, like all the guitars that I've owned, and I think this puts me over 30 now. And with all of those ones, this is one brand that I've never bought, never owned, I should say. Well, bought, owned, never had this guitar before, and I just picked it up yesterday. Got it all set up. I got it. Hats off to my buddy John that works at our Long McQuaid, which is like our version of Guitar Center, and he set this thing up beautifully and put some my favorite D'Addario XT strings on it. And the thing is just it just plays really well, and it's got a different sound. Again, it's a guitar that a brand that I've never owned, so it's my first exposure to this sound. And anyway, have I stalled long enough? Have I stalled long enough? Trying to build up the the anticipation. So, hey Jason, welcome. All right, I'm done stalling. So this is what I got. And as soon as you see this, you're gonna think of a particular musician as soon as I show it. And here it is. Do the typical pan across the camera. Yes, it's a Gretsch. I have never owned a Gretsch. They were never in my wheelhouse. And even though this is I guess for lack of, well, first of all, when you see this, before I go down that route, when you see this, who does it remind you of? Gene, Malcolm. Yes. Yeah, so Malcolm played the much more expensive version of this. Actually, it's not even this. I think his was like a Firebird, they called that model, but it looks a lot like this. And of course, famously, it had three pickups and he took two of them out, so he just had the bridge pickup, which was different than this. But I mean, it looks like the Malcolm guitar, right? So, but honestly, that's not why I picked this particular color. It's just of the available colors, and there was only um, like four of them. This was the only. This was a color that I liked the best. Maybe because I'd seen Malcolm for years playing this color or color similar to this, but this was the one that I kind of dug the best. So, oh, Cushman, you got one also. Cool. Yeah. So this is the. Now I'm not an expert on Gretsch guitars, like as I said, first one I've ever owned. But my understanding is that Gretsch has a bunch of different sort of lines, right? Like the less expensive line, and then it kind of goes up from there. Um, Take the pickguard off. Actually, I won't, Kush. I love the pickguard. I think the pickguard kind of accents it nicely. I love it the way it looks, just the way it is. To go for the Malcolm thing, yeah, you would take the pickguard off. But again, I didn't. I'm not trying to. I certainly can't play like Malcolm. And if I use this at a gig, I don't want people thinking that I'm going to play like Malcolm. Although they're probably going to think, oh, the guy's an ACDC head. But whatever. Um, but anyway, what I was going to say. No, I forgot my train of thought. But anyways, oh, the different series. So this is sort of like the Gretsch has different series of guitars. This is the Electromatic, which is not the least expensive, but the next one up. So this is still a Chinese-made guitar, and and it's not that expensive, right? Probably the cheapest guitar that I've ever. Yeah, I think it's the cheapest guitar that I ever bought, right? Um, so I before I decided to order one, and then picked it up at my buddy's store. But there was another store that had another one, and I went to play one. I went to check it. I went to the store, and I'm looking at this thing. It was a turquoise one, a blue one. I'm looking at this thing, and I'm examining it closely, and looking at all the binding, and the neck joint, and all the checking the fret ends, and I'm like, what the hell, man? This is like so well made for the price. It's like, what am I missing here? And I plugged that one in and I played it, and it was like very impressive. And if you follow me on my Guitar Hack Facebook group, I posted those pictures and I said very impressive because it was. I mean, the thing just played phenomenally. It played like a much more expensive instrument, and I was just kind of floored, how good it was. And so then I, called my buddy up. I said, "Can you get me this color?" And he brought it in, and I've been playing it. Played it yesterday, played it today, and the thing is just really, really impressive. The pickups sound fantastic. The thing stays in tune. The tuning heads work. All the controls work. I thought, they give you like a cheap feeling switch. The switch feels good. The pots feel good. I mean, they did cut corners. I mean, this is an Indian laurel as opposed to rosewood fretboard, which, whatever, it feels the same. So, I've been absolutely loving this thing, And what's great is it's a different voice. It's a voice that I don't have, right? Of my other guitars, it's got its own sound, which is really, really cool. So yeah, so this coming in means something is going out, and probably before this, the least expensive guitar I ever bought was my Yamaha Revstar, and this reminds me a lot of the Revstar, like a lot. But I kind of like the sound of this one better than the Revstar. So they're very similar, and I kind of prefer this one. So I think this one is going to replace the Revstar. So look for a Revstar going up on sale in the Greater Toronto area very shortly. But let me plug this thing in, right? I've been doing a lot of talking. Let's hear what it sounds like. So by the way, what I'm using for sound here is a real live amp. I've got my Marshall DSL behind me, and I'm going through the Marshall, and I'm going into the captor, the torpedo captor, and that's going into my mixer here. And so what you're hearing is basically tubes, and I have my gigging pedal board, my big board here on the floor. So these are all sounds that I'm probably going to be using when I gig this, which will, I think, in a week or two. I think 2 weeks. Anyways, I'm taking this out because it's that good. I'm going to gig with it right away. But here we go. So that's so what I got going here. Just a little bit of a Hall of Fame reverb, and this is my amp. So that's the neck pickup, the middle. Here's the middle, and then the bridge. Just a beautiful sounding guitar. I don't know. Hopefully that's coming across as well as I'm hearing it here, but it's a beautiful sounding guitar. Okay, just pickguards give the guitar character, says Ken White. Yeah, that whole pickguard on and off, I'm a pickguard on guy, just because that's what I'm used to seeing, especially with Les Pauls. I always leave my pickguards on. Just getting caught up here. Gotta love when a guitar speaks to you. Yes, yeah. When you just really like just the feel of it and the way it sounds. You know? Yeah, just feels really nice to play. The action is set nice and low the way I like it, so. Oh, thanks. Searching for Tone. Welcome. Thank you. I played AC/DC for weeks after buying. Yeah, well, there'll be some. I'll be doing some. It's like if you got an SG, you gotta play some. I was gonna say Tony Iommi, but you also gotta play some AC/DC. But yeah, this has got AC/DC written all over it. Did you ever get into any hollow bodies? Yeah, Ken. I have a Gibson. It's not a complete hollow body. It's a semi-acoustic, semi-hollow body, which is a Gibson 339, which is a little lesser known model. If you imagine the Chuck Berry guitar, the 335, if you shrink that down roughly the size of this, that would be a 339. So I have that, and that's my I call that my Alex Lifeson guitar because it's when I want to play some I'll pull that one out for when I want to play some Rush. Not that I can. Yeah. Sounds really nice. Oh, so it's coming through. Thanks, Gene. Hey, Jason, welcome. If I haven't said hello. Just living in rain-soaked New York City. Yeah, yeah. I did the show this week with Pete, and we were comparing notes, and New York's been having the same weather we've had, which is it's been overcast here. Oh man, probably the last 5 days. Just overcast and raining and just miserable, and it's cold. Not, winter cold, but just, cold enough that, you need a jacket to be outside. It's not pleasant being outside. So, hey, Russ, how are you, man? Yeah, Gene's getting that same weather. Hey, Broxel, how are you? Yeah, so it's hard for me to play with this thing. This mic right on. It's kind of hard to get up here. As soon as you go to the bridge, you got that. 335 is legendary. Many great players have used the guitar. I love the sound. Yeah, 335s are great. Sometimes they call them the Les Paul killers, and I can see why, because there's they got a certain thing about them. When I love the reverb, yeah, that's the Hall of Fame reverb pedal, Gene. The 330. When I was in a band called Rebel Charm, and I was the only guitar player, so it was guitar, bass, and drums, right? So for that band, I pretty much, not exclusively, but a lot of the times, I would play the 339 because, the Les Paul is kind of, the sound of it is kind of mid-range, very kind of laser focused, whereas the 339 gives you that, but also gives you some airiness, and it gives you a little more bottom end. It just sounds more full, and it kind of fills in that space a little more. And being the only guitar player, you got a lot of, you want to try and fill up as much sound as possible. So I used that 339 a lot with that band. I'm in a 2-guitar band now, so for me, it's fighting for, it's fighting for the same harmonic, territory, the same frequency bands, right? Hamer 335 copy. I don't think I've ever seen one of those, Gene. Oh, the Hall of Fame? Yeah, I got the mini Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame, the TC Electronic Hall of Fame. I just got it on plate, and it's like awesome. That's plate reverb. Well, if I'm going to play some AC/DC, maybe I should put on a little bit of Dirt, eh? What do you think? This thing right in the middle of I'm doing the best I can. Sin City, yeah, that's 4 chords, man. It's E, B, D, and A. Early 70 Univox 335 copy in green, which I love. Ken, my first guitar, I've probably mentioned this before, but my first guitar was a Cherry Sunburst, just like Ace, with the double white, the double creams that they re-released again, but in the Gibson, the real ones. Anyway, this was a Univox copy, and that was the first guitar I ever owned. Trying to remember when the hell did I buy that? Probably 13 or 14, and it sounded pretty good, but it wouldn't stay in tune. And back then, I knew nothing about guitars. I'm like, man, I should, because really, I could have just swapped out the tuners, but, there was no internet when I was 14. There was no YouTube channels. There was nothing. I was like, I knew nothing about tone. The only reason I got it is because it looked like Ace's guitar, back in those days. Like, you had no clue about anything tone-wise. And for years, man, for years, I knew nothing about tone. Let's see if I can do this with this thing in my way. I don't know if that's saying Malcolm playing that or Angus. I think that's probably Angus playing that. K Electric back in '69. Years later, I got a Univox Les Paul. I said, yeah, the same one I did, Mitch. Yeah, Univox. I thought they just by the name of the company, it's like these guys make like color RCA color TVs or something. No, they make guitars. Damn it. Yeah, so this is like totally China made, but man, like I'm telling you, I don't find one flaw with this guitar at all. It's just there's no sharp no sharp edges here. It's just, I don't know, man. I just hit that E chord for like 28 bars or whatever it is. AC/DC, love it. 60, 70 guitars from Japan are quite collectible. Yeah, they are. All those, what are they, Taiscos? Those weird ones with like all the buttons and switches and thing on them. Yeah, there's a market for those. Mako Les Paul copy. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my Univox either, Gene. Yeah. Fast way on this? Well, I have to use the heavier gain. I appreciate that. Searching for tone. Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, I'm probably most of you in here. I would assume probably all of you in here are subscribers or mine subscribers already, and thank you so much for that. I am trying to break the 5,000 subscriber barrier. I am less than 100 away, so tell your friends, tell your relatives, tell your pets, subscribe. Get me over 5,000. That'd be so appreciated. We got Joe DeLenza. Hey, man. Nice to see you. Sounds good. I don't know if that's quite an AC/DC tone. That's my Wampler Euphoria, which is my my light drive pedal. Like I've got, so if you're just joining me, I'm basically this. What you're hearing is all amplifier tubes. You can see the amp behind me. See, it's on right now. Marshall into the Captor into this, and I'm using the pedals, my big pedal board, because I'm not gigging this weekend. It's all here at my feet. Day Tripper. I don't forget the chords. It's this. There you go. Yeah. You know what that song? Here's another riff that's almost identical. Oh, it's a great litmus test. Yeah, you can. The one thing with the Gretsch, you can, all the notes pop. Um, there's like this high mid kind of thing, that surrounds all the notes the way they bloom, and they just. I mean, this would really cut this, and this is probably why Malcolm played it. I mean, or something similar to this. It just cuts, there's that nice roundness to it, but it's not irritating like tinny. It's still nice and creamy sounding. Yeah, the Beatles rule. Yeah, yeah. So that Day Tripper and Hair of the blanking on the song, but that song and Hair of the Dog are basically the same riff. I was trying to think of some more AC/DC stuff. Where we go from there, I don't know where it goes from there. Here's another AC/DC riff, which is kind of the same thing. What's that one called? Most of the ones I know are all off the same album. There's a clue right there. Is closest. Wonder that's where Nazareth got from the Beatles. Yeah, Dark Wizard. I mean, everybody steals from everybody else, right? That's sort of the joke, And then if you do something good with it, you're borrowing it. There's a whole saying that goes around it. If you borrow it, if you're talented, you borrow it, or I don't know. There's something around that. Giving the dog a bone. Give that man a bone. Yeah, I just love the sound of this thing. I mean, with the right little bit of drive, it's just got enough. but it's got clarity with all the notes too, right? How about Brian Setzer with his Gretsch White Falcon? What a guitar. Yeah. The White Falcon. I usually what I've seen he's playing this orange one, which is I think it's just they call that the Chet Atkins. But yeah, that whole thing, that those big, and I was just having this discussion with Steve Brand. We were talking Gretsch, and he was talking about like the thickness of the guitars. Those things are like, well, shit. He told me the measurements too, and I can't remember now. But they're pretty thick guitars. Like the White Falcon for me, that's I mean I'm a big Billy Duffy guy, and that's kind of what he played. And it's funny because he's got some signature models of White Falcons, and the first one he did was the same dimensions as the original White Falcon. Just changed the pickups and a couple of cosmetic things, and that was a signature model. But then he came out with another one. I think he's on his third version or something of it now. But the second one, what he did was he took the White Falcon and he basically slimmed it down so it was more or less the same thickness as this. And this is maybe a little thinner than a Les Paul, just to make it a little more comfortable. Because those are big, big, and I'm not like 6 foot tall, so a regular size White Falcon, even a 335 for me would look massive. So heavy. Oh, the weight of this, you know what surprises me about this? Hey, Paul, welcome. Monkey's Gretsch model. Yeah, yeah. I think that's what he played. Didn't he play Country Gentleman, Mike Nesmith? Um, what surprised me with this is the weight of it, because from what I read, is it's pretty much all hollowed out. This is, and it's got a nice curved top on it too, which is kind of cool, right? It's not a flat top. Again, this is a cheap guitar. And they got a carved top on it. But from my understanding is that it's pretty much all hollow everywhere except for the center. And so you would think that this would be, wouldn't weigh a lot. But I mean, I'm not saying it's a heavy guitar, but it does have a bit of heft to it. I would say this is probably, I mean, it's lighter than a Les Paul. It's probably about 6 or 7 pounds, right? And I would have thought this would be lighter than it is, but it's got a bit of heft to it. Trying to think what other AC/DC licks I know. Nobody picked out this one. Oh, what's that one? Come on. That's not on the same album as all the others. That's a different record. What other AC/DC licks do I know? That'll come to me. Oh, the obvious one. And then there's this. I got reverb, but you can't play reverb with AC/DC. That reverb had to be off for this. Billy Zoom from the band X always plays a Gretsch Silverjet. Yeah. Hey, Christopher, welcome. Yeah, I mean, they make a lot of different models. There's a lot of models of Gretsch. And, yeah, that's the single cutaway with the silver sparkle, I believe. That's a popular one. I've seen that one before. Girls Got Rhythm. I don't know that one. That one I don't know. I don't know it. I'm trying to imagine it and play it, but I can't do it. That'd be a great one to learn, though. Oh, shook me all night long. I don't know the beginning part, but you know. Shit, G. Shit. Something like that. Oh, jeez. I don't know. I'm gonna brain fart for that one. Or shook me all night long. Try not to play with a bunch of bar chords. Let's get great. Yeah. So you're looking for something cheap? Check out the Gretsch. I'm gonna do a video on it here. You know, a review video, and you know, not that it's a new product. These things have been around forever, but because I did notice I mean, there are some reviews of the guitar, but you know, I'll put my little spin on it. You know, and you know what you don't hear with any of these Gretsch reviews is nobody's playing it clean. That's the one thing. If I was to, I mean, here's me, right? Guitar hack criticizing guitar review videos, but one thing I find with a lot of them is you don't actually hear the guitar because 9 times out of 10 they're playing with gain, right? So they're playing through a pedal, right? Now I'm not saying that it's wrong to play it with gain, but before you play it with gain, play it clean so that you're actually hearing the instrument before you start slapping on the salami. You know what I mean? Like, let's hear what it sounds like. You know, all the pickup positions, play a few things, you know, open chords, whatever. Let you know, listen to the overtones, listen to, you know, how the notes bloom. Do you have the articulation? You know, get the full taste of it. You know, and then throw some gain on it. You know, whether amp gain or pedal or whatever, and then, you know, that way you can actually hear what the guitar sounds like. Because a lot of these reviews, it's like, am I hearing the guitar or am I hearing your effects? You know, and what really gets me is these guys that do guitar reviews and they're running their guitar through like a big multi effects unit, or like a Helix or a Kiesel or whatever, and it's like, wait a minute, yeah, your unit sounds great. What's the guitar sound like? Gene Schmidt knows what I'm talking about, right? Am I right? 100%. Yeah. All right. Somebody was asking for. So that's another pedal. That's a little heavier. That's my Friedman. And I don't even know which one it is. Oh, it's a small box. Yeah. Yeah, I got. For my heavier gain, I like the Friedman pedals. Um. Right on time, GTU. How's it going, Quinn? Malcolm Young played the Gretsch broadcaster for years. Is that what they called it, Ken? Because I was watching something on that, and they called it a Firebird, right? That's the model, like not Gibson, but the Gretsch Firebird. And I'm like, again, I'm not a Gretsch guitar person. I mean, I'm all new to this Gretsch world. but that's what they called it, and it had like a trapeze. Originally had a trapeze tailpiece, and then he got rid of it and has had a set just a stop tail bar. Oh, he modded the hell out of that, but apparently it was the same guitar he used all through the 70s, like from when they started, and he just liked the sound of it. Oh, thank you, Alan. Thanks, man. Thanks for being here. I got no more. I got no more AC/DC licks. I'm all out of AC/DC. This is a little too much gain for AC/DC. That's way too much gain for AC/DC. Guess that song. Cold Sweat. Yeah, that was Cold Sweat. Yeah, there's a... Can you do the intro for Guns for Hire? No, I don't know that. Sorry, Alan. Don't know that one. Nobody got the earlier song, eh? Oh. Talked about it on the show this past Thursday. One of my favorite guitar tones show. Here's the signature riff that would give it away. Who's that? Yeah, I was watching you earlier. ZZ Top. What song? What song? I'm going to put you on the spot. I'll give you a hint. It's off their biggest selling record. Speaking of AC/DC. blank there for a minute. Just got paid today. Got me a pocket full of change. Love Billy Gibbons. Can you do Brian solo on Brian Rock? No, I can't. Sorry, Alan. If it's not a song I learned for a band, I probably don't know it. Or if it's a band that I really dig, I probably don't know it. Not that I don't dig. Actually, the only Queen, and I always get a copyright, so I'm just gonna play this really briefly. But that's one Queen song that I used to play all the time, and I know it, the whole thing, solo and all, because I covered it with a band. There's actually, if you go to my playlist, go to live videos, you'll see me playing that with a fantastic singer and a great drummer and an awesome bass player. I was the weak link in that band. I was talking about that band earlier. That would be Rebel Charm. For whatever reason, that's the one that always gets a copyright strike. Or not a strike, copyright claim. So I gotta watch that. I'm probably gonna get one because I've been playing too many riffs tonight anyways. Yeah. Oh, you've seen the video, Alan. Thanks, man. Thanks for checking it out. Slightly out of tune. Hang on a second here. I can hear it. Just slightly out. Nope. Something's out. There it is. There we go. Better. All right. You got about another 10 minutes or so. So, what do I got coming up on the channel? Next month I got another show with Pete and Martin. I'm not going to give away the topic, but it's still kind of in the same vein as the last one, guitar sounds. So that'll be the next one. And I got a run of gigs, but I think I have one weekend in June that I'm not playing on a Saturday, so I might do another live one here. I mean, I've done 2 this month because normally I only do 1 a month of these live ones, but I had New Guitar Day, so I thought it was a good reason to do one. But yeah, so I'll be doing one in June as well. Another live stream in June. The Ocean. What's the neck? Like Strat LP. GTU. The neck is fucking awesome. It's I would say the closest neck profile to this, I would say a Les Paul Slim 60s neck. That's how I would describe this, right? Which is great because I've got ditch digger hands. These are not the hands of a guitar player. They're all palm and no fingers. Part of the reason why I'm guitar hack. Physically can do no better. But yeah, so the neck is great for me. Is it up here? Yeah, it's. There it is. Skinnerd on the Hunt. I don't know any Skinnerd. That's all I know. Passage to Bangkok. That's all I know. So that's all bridge, eh? Like that's the middle there. And then this is the neck. I will say this though, there is a lot more string tension on this than my Les Paul. It takes a little more effort to bend because to get that riff, you got to go. And if you can't bend that, the riff sounds, I don't know, doesn't sound very good. I can't remember that. I used to play that. How do guitarists manage to tune their guitars for a particular ethnic sounding tone? Well, just the way they would tune it normally. I don't know about the ethnic sounding thing, but I mean, there's some common tunings that you hear in a lot of music, not necessarily ethnic music, but even rock music, like Dad Gad, where they literally tune a D A D G A D. That's the tuning I think Jimmy Page uses for Dancing Days. And then there's drop D, which is nothing more than taking your low E string, going down 2 tones or a full tone. Sometimes for slide guitar players, or what Keith Richards is famous for, is tuning to a chord. So that he could play like an open E chord, so he can play chords with one finger, so he can go, But see, I'm doing it with regular tuning, but he does that all with you know, tuning everything to one, and like Jumpin' Jack Flash. I think he uses the same tuning for that too. Cashmere's Dadgad, yeah. A long time ago, I did a series of videos and didn't really wasn't worth the effort because there's a lot of work to do. And I was like picking one band, my 5 favorite riffs, and then I would learn the riffs and play the riffs. And when I got to the Zeppelin stuff, that's a lot of alternate tuning. Kashmir, Dancing Days, alternate tuning, And some of the Sabbath stuff, I talked about this on the show Thursday. He takes the whole guitar and just tunes it down to C sharp. So like, you know, he's got to be using really thick strings, or these things turn into spaghetti. These are just nines. So yeah, yeah. These are Dark Wizard. These are nines. It's all I use is nines. I try to use, actually, I did put eights on a guitar once just to see what it's like, because, just to make it easier, because I am having hand issues at times. And I just couldn't do the eights. There was like, I mean, it didn't even feel like a guitar. Like I was playing, I was just stumbling all over. I mean, it felt so foreign that I had to go back to, nines. Yeah. But 9 of 42, so that's basically, I don't even want a thick E string. Open G for the Rolling Stones. Yeah, open G, yeah. Yeah, I really like the way this thing sounds. It definitely does not sound anything like a Les Paul. Definitely does not sound anything like a Strat. This has its own voice, which is really, really cool. 9 of 42, Gene? Yeah. 9 seemed to be the ticket. Yeah, this thing actually came with 10s on it, right? And so as part of, setting it up for me, my buddy put, my favorite strings are the Dario XTs. They're a little more expensive. They're like probably twice the price as a regular set of strings. That being said, they kind of last forever. I mean, I can't remember. I mean, mind you, I don't play any guitar long enough that I really need to change strings. Like, you know what I mean? That being said, though, they just last a long time. They sound good for a long time. I can play multiple shows on the same set of strings, like XTs. So the argument is, well, yeah, they cost twice as much. I go, yeah, but they last forever. Yeah, those are my favorite. I remember when I was at NAMM years ago, they just came out with those strings, and I went to the Daddario booth, and I talked to the guy, and he actually gave me, before they were even in stores, he gave me a set of XTs, and I did a video on those, and they're just phenomenal strings. Oh, yeah, no, I don't know that. The only that's like the only Iron Maiden that I know, actually. It's kind of embarrassing, actually, because I grew up with Iron Maiden. Yeah. All right. Oh, we're at the hour. So, folks, American folks, have a great long weekend, great Memorial weekend. Everyone else have a regular good weekend. I want to thank everybody for popping in. I'll wait here if anybody's got any last minute comments or things I want to mention. I will again. I'll be doing a full review of this at some point whenever I got some time and some quiet. And I'll go through the whole guitar and do some some clean samples and some. Then I'll throw some dirt on it. But a little video talking about the guitar. Thanks, Jay Miller. Appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so if you're, I'm sure most of you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscription. I'm just slowly approaching 5,000, so that would be awesome to reach, hopefully by the end of the year. That'd be very cool. Yeah, thanks. Have a great weekend. So, all right. Okay. All right, folks. So, everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you next time. And keep playing guitar, keep listening to music, and enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend, all. Cheers.